There it is, 2000. A milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon.
Malkin dusts it off, right in front. Now the chance, backhand score! It's Brian Rust with the goal. Rarefied air, the Hall of Fame career, 1,200 points for Evgeny Malkin.
2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball. Separation. Touchdown. George Pickens.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BP TV studio. We're at the Bethel Park Municipal Building here, right in downtown Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 21, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and the city of Pittsburgh and the greater Pittsburgh area. We get people all over the area know who we are, especially my co-host, Smoking Something or Other. Oh, there he is. And on Facebook, want to thank all of you for helping to make this old guy proud. 7,000 likes. We're holding steady there. Who would think? I had people want to charge me $20,000 to do my social media. I did it with zero. So imagine that. First of all, to all my fans, got my hair cut today. Look at that. Azazu, downtown Pittsburgh, 5th Avenue. Emilio, the owner, cut my hair. He said, "You look sharp tonight on BP TV." Thanks to all of you watching us on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook. We appreciate that. Chief McElroy, I worked for him 30 plus years with him at the Post-Gazette and Press. Shout out, Chief. Thanks a lot. Me and Smoking Jim want to go to lunch with you someday, so let's get our schedules together.
You know, Chief, he ain't going to pay.
I know you ain't going to pay. Guess what? I'm paying. Would like to have lunch. Paul Haley's watching us, one of our biggest fans from South Carolina. Thank you there. I lost my whole train of thought. But I got the clean cut. I'm ready to go. I'm known as Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smoking Jim Frazier. Now, it's a little chilly. He doesn't feel hot or cold. I saw him wear this outfit in the summer. And guess what? None of it is store-bought. We have Nick Callis sitting in Chip Hayner's seat. I didn't get any updates on Chip. He had his, I guess we'll call it his 3rd transplant of his knee. He was doing well a week ago. He had a little seepage, but hopefully they got that stopped, so he's on the healing process. Not sure when he'll come back. We couldn't get a hold of Ragin' Rhodey, Michael Rhodey, so Nick and Peggy up in Rochester, he's not on, but he had a hip replacement. So me and Smoking Jim are hanging in there. All I had was a kidney transplant, thanks to my son, saved my life. Smoking Jim had a quadruple bypass and a dozen injuries from head-on accidents to ERs and everything else, but we're hanging in there. So we appreciate you watching us, and we got our promos coming up in 10 seconds. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. The Hillcrest Christian Academy yearbook team is looking to fundraise through advertising. They want to give students the ability to have full-color pages with everything they need to remember this chapter of their lives. If you're interested in supporting Hillcrest Christian Academy and capturing priceless moments and highlighting student achievement, please advertise with the yearbook team. Pricing is listed right here. Payments can be made directly to the Hillcrest Christian Academy School. For more information, send a message to their email. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. Zhang Taekwondo just opened a new location in the South Hills, along with its location in Wexford and its inclusion in the curriculum of Provident Charter School in Troy Hill. Zhang uses Taekwondo to teach its students confidence and self-discipline through physical fitness. Zhang is offering a 4-week special. You get a uniform and lessons for $30. If you mention the Talking Machine, Smokin' Jim, or VIP Nick, they'll give you a further discount. For more information, go to zhangtkd.com or call 724-934-9264. Not everybody's tuning in. Chip Hayner's watching us. Chip said the knee is healing. I just have to be patient. Chip, if you think you got to be patient, double it, and then you'll be fine.
Got his leg
Stay
elevated.
healthy. Don't ask any questions. Ty Polk's watching. Ty Polk's here.
That's actually my parents watching
All right.
in my stead. So yeah.
I needed an update. Shout
Guys
out.
raised a great son. Great son.
You got a great son here. He talked his way into getting on with the talking machine, Smoking Jim, and Nick VIP Callis. All right. Chuck McElroy, Chief, came back. He said, "Looking sharp, Al. I'll buy lunch. Smoke can leave the tip. LOL. Ain't no tip.
No, I'll tip with the singles.
Ain't no tip."
Singles.
My longtime friend, another one from the Post-Gazette, George Malerbo's watching. Diane Mariana Rohde's watching. Ann Harder, Chief, told me he went to lunch with you. She goes, she's watching. Glad Mike and Chip are on the mend. Pete Kasich is watching. All right, we're caught up on everybody. You've seen our show before, Ty, so I go, what's on your mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. And I tell you what, man, I feel like it's Black History Month here today. Al Levine, the talking machine. Great to see a brother in Bethel Park.
Hold it. Little disclaimer. He asked me if he could be on the show, and I said, we'll have an opening, and we had it tonight.
Yeah, an opening for 2 years.
Yeah. He's a patient man. And to his parents, you raised a great son, and we'll see if his debut can carry on to filling in another time, since we're in a little state of flux with some co-hosts.
Well, Al Levine, the talking machine, you guys may already know it, but what was the most Googled person in 2023? And it wasn't
Musk.
It wasn't Swift.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't
Wow.
Swift.
I don't
Jason
look
Ke-
for
or, Travis Kelce.
Close.
Elon Musk.
Jason Kelsey.
Mikey got it. Damar Hamlin, most Googled person in 2023.
I didn't
Still
hear-
can't get off the bench or get a helmet, but he's the most
Oh,
Googled.
man.
Al Levine, the
Hold it a
talking
second.
machine.
Disclaimer.
Look, Ty looks like he's surprised by that comment.
Here's the
No,
problem.
I'm not.
54th man.
Here's a disclaimer, Ty.
Dang, man.
Here's what I got to do. Smoking Jim does not represent Pittsburgh Sportsline, Bethel Park, or even me.
He's the reason we need that
He's-
disclaimer at the beginning.
Right. He's talking about.
I've seen this at Steel City Sports World. I didn't think I'd see it here.
No, but I put a stop to it. That whatever
Oh
he
my
says
goodness.
is his own opinions, and he's talking about a guy that died on a field. Now, since he's been on my show, we've asked him what he thought about players, and he goes, "I'm like an emperor; they're a piece of meat." Now, I said that's disrespectful then, so I'm quoting him. You can check the video, as our coaches would say, check the film for the last 12 years.
Speaking of Google,
You were.
Google this. Crosby 500 goals, Ovechkin 800, same age.
Hold it, I got a trivia
Now that's
fact.
disrespectful.
Hold it, wait till you hear this. Smoking Jim, you love Ovechkin.
I like goals.
Wait, I'm going to tell you then. I got something about your hero, Ovechkin. You want to hear his stats for this year?
Greatest of all time.
You want to hear his stats for this
GOAT?
year?
Yes, sir.
25 games, 5 goals. His worst stretch in history. Guess what?
Got his mind on Russia.
No, does time and age catch up with you? He might have hit the wall.
The Ukrainians.
I don't know about that. I
Al
think
Levine, the talking machine.
We'll get you up there.
Everybody knows, this is real quick. Everybody knows I'm an NFL scout. Been watching this kid since he was 18 years old at Maryland. Rest in peace, Frank Wycheck. I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine. Heck of a tight end. His junior year, they went to a run and shoot offense with a new coach. They moved him to tailback. He looked like the A-Train back there.
Whoa.
Like All-Star. He was All-Star
I
before
loved
All-Star.
All-Star.
I watched him run for 162 yards in one game. Washington Redskins at the time
You can't say that.
got him. 2 years later, they cut him. Got picked up by the Houston Oilers, then the Tennessee Oilers, then the Tennessee Titans. Went into the Ring of Fame, Al Levine, the talking machine, with Eddie George and Aaron McNair. And I tell you what, everybody talks about the miracle, what they call it? What they call that miracle throw, where he threw that pass to Kevin Dyson in the Miracle in the Midway or whatever it was.
Music City Miracle.
Music City. I knew Ty would get
Thanks for
it.
coming
He's
in.
a journalist. And that put him on
Otis,
the,
so are you. Or, I
that
mean,
put-
you were.
That put him on the map, Al Levine, the talking machine. But I tell you what, he had CTE, and he donated his brain to research. I ain't donate mine, Al Levine, the talking machine. But rest in peace, one of the all-time greats, Frank Wycheck. Great tight end, 3-time All-Pro, 500 receiving receptions. A heck of a player.
Well, Smoking Jim, if I outlive you, I'll make sure they dissect your brain. And I'll stand by that on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for some of your information, not all of it. We appreciate you. Raging Roadie has a comment here. Wait till you hear it, guys. I would like to amend my 11-7 and win a playoff game prediction.
Well, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Ty's new to the show. We can't retract it now. All you can say is I was a little misguided. That's all. All right.
Hey, I also went pretty wrong, too. I said 25 touchdowns for Kenny Pickett.
That's wrong. That was wrong.
Yeah.
We'll get to you a little bit later. All right. What's on your mind, Nick Callis?
Let's talk about football then, I guess.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We had one of our insiders in the fan, an Odyssey guy, Jason Lockenfor is his name, and he became a public enemy to all Steeler fans because he and Crowley were talking when he was on as a guest on Monday, so yesterday, and he said, in regards to Tom, and he said, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Do a little study. See how other teams have done during Tomlin's tenure. And that seems to be really the refrain that many of the national perspective talk show people, that's what they say. The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
You mean ESPN and other like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And radio stations?
There you go. You got
Just
it.
thought I'd mention it because you have restrictions on you.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it's just, it's so frustrating to hear that now. And for anybody, I wasn't totally on board with the Fire Tomlin people until they lost these 2 games, and now I'm like, you know what, I get it. Now I understand. I'm finally there. It's okay. I'm not going to blame you for thinking that way. I don't know where they're going to go from here if they were to decide to do that. They're probably not going to do it. But I'm with you. I understand. He loses very winnable games, and for some reason the Steelers are usually drawn to that 8-8, 9-8 kind of stretch that you get. So I hate the perspective, though, because you have so many people saying this. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, but sometimes it is. And this is where I am. The Steelers should not live in their fears, even though that's Tomlin's thing, and he says that. They should not live in their fears with just like what would happen if he wasn't there. And there are plenty of studies, too, if you look at other teams during Tomlin's tenure, where they have indeed done better when they've made a change. I think Doug Peterson of the Eagles is a great example of that. He goes on to Jacksonville and has better success in a different place, and the Eagles get Sirianni, and they go to a Super Bowl, and they have success. These things can exist together. You can have a change, and it's good change for both sides. And in this case with the Steelers, the grass could be greener on the other side. We're seeing consistency with Mike Tomlin, that they finish in the middle a lot. What do you want to say? I'm out of thoughts.
You've been on here how long?
3 years-ish.
The standard is the standard, mediocrity.
Sure.
And all the other things that Tomlin says, the rubber hits the road. No, we missed it.
The fact that people
The next man up, guess what? We don't have anybody up
The fact
because the first ones aren't good. You've been with me for over 3 years.
the fact that
Now you know why we were talking like this, so welcome aboard. I'm welcoming you to board because
I would have to check the tapes, but I don't ever think that I defended him to a large
No,
extent.
you didn't.
I've been mad because of his arrogance,
Here.
and it seemed sometimes it's justified. And I always think, okay, they win and they beat teams that you wouldn't think that they would beat, and it's good.
And
But
then what do
lose
they
to-
do?
Then they lose to the teams.
many teams.
And that's the thing, like and the players having different takes on this as well. Like with the speaking publicly saying the defense is saying that they were prepared and they were fine. The offense is saying that they weren't prepared enough and they took a team lightly. Like This might be the first time that Mike Tomlin's lost a locker room as well, and that might be a problem. His effectiveness just isn't there, where they're taking these 2-win teams lightly and they're not really going to do anything, and they're going to continue to reach that median of a 9-8 season. But I just hate the national perspective, and I hope you don't fall for it. We should expect more as Steeler fans, and I think any fan should expect more, that if a guy is finishing consistently in the middle and not winning in the playoffs and Super Bowls aren't even a thought, then, perhaps it would be time to move on. Because, again, maybe the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but, it could be. And that's what's on my mind.
Well, a couple counterpoints there because it's fresh in my mind. I've watched football my whole life. I've watched Noel's teams lose. I've watched Cowher's team lose. Smoking Jim's a little goofy on that. And I've never seen such a bad season with the eye test on what you see on the field as I have this year from game 1. Those teams with Noel, he kept players too long. He fell in love with them. Look at Cowher, players coach. He kept a couple of those guys too long, and other things were distracting him supposedly. And, we won't go into that, but I watched those teams lose, and I never, ever saw players like Deontay and Pickens standing on a field while plays going on and not participating. And we used to have old-time players. I'm old school. Can you imagine Joe Green seeing Pickens or Deontay? He would have punched them in the locker room. And don't you ever do that. You're here to play. Like I've talked about, all these players get all this money. They feel entitled, and they are special athletes, but they got to go to the next level. Look at Le'Veon Bell, AB. Did we win a Super Bowl with the 3 Bs? No. What's smoking? I'm on a
just
rant.
be quick because I want to hear Ty, but
Well, we're going to hear him. We've got plenty of time.
I'm a traveling man. I know you don't get a chance to travel with 4 or 5 jobs, but if you go before you want to get rid of Coach Tomlin, don't forget the Dallas Cowboys is the most popular team in the history of this planet, and they ain't won nothing since '93 or '95.
93, I think.
When you go look around at other cities, they got $4 or $5 billion stadiums that attracts players. We play in a high school stadium with luxury boxes that's a $275 million dump. Coach Tomlin, they come here because they like to play for him. So that's one ingredient. He can recruit players who otherwise wouldn't come to Pittsburgh.
Can you explain why they?
I can explain anything.
Okay.
I'm the guru you should be talking to. You talking about insiders. Everything.
What makes players then believe, or what makes players say that they took teams lightly then?
Because they did.
The first thing they teach you when you come in as a rookie, they tell you to be a mushroom. I think that's what they say. What they basically say is say a whole lot, but don't say too much. That's what they try to teach them. Keep the media in the dark.
Are the players saying too much?
The players don't know a lot of times what to say. They don't know what to say.
So they just tell the truth then.
And then you get the sound bites.
Well, no, remember where this is coming from.
Don't
forget,
forget,
what you
a
ask
lot
them.
of this didn't happen. Some of it got to be pinned on Coach Mr. Rooney. If you say Mr. Rooney got rid of Canada, it wasn't happening under Canada. We weren't
what
producing.
Are you talking about?
You didn't see players. You didn't see the kind of interviews and the kind of unprepared offense that you're seeing now. Faulkner's no offensive coordinator, and Sullivan he is no.
He's only a play caller.
No play caller.
Yeah, he's no offensive coordinator.
So what? Faulkner don't know how to speak. He speak a different language. That's why somebody else is calling plays.
They got
It's
a two-headed
ridiculous.
snake.
It's ridiculous.
I would argue that some of Najee Harris's comments got the fuel burning enough.
I
to
told
get
you
that
they
guy
have no
fired.
leadership on the offense.
Well,
none.
Whose fault is that then? I would put that on the head coach.
The players.
After this.
And the general
Here,
manager.
to interrupt you guys, there's some players that are strong that keep discipline.
Well, Dan Moore is the leader.
Well, he's open door Moore. He lets them all out the door and come to get the quarterback. Other than that, ain't nothing there.
It's the head coach's job to facilitate
Look
that
at
kind of leadership.
Hines Ward. Look at Troy Polamalu.
Thank you, Bill Cowher.
Well, look at that. They back the coach up with the discipline. We have what's called a lack of discipline. You've played all sports. You've played.
Tim Worley, Eric
If you
Green.
don't have discipline on a team, then you have a cancer grows with called a bad attitude. Now, when I'm not getting the ball and I'm a receiver, this team sucks. When I get a touchdown, I'm dancing and we're 2 touchdowns down. Guess how
Or they
disrespectful it is for your whole team.
Or they go ahead and one of the receivers is not happy, which is bizarre.
Right.
So
But I mean,
I
there's
put that on the head coach, though. It's just that's the kind of leadership that you have to
They'd have
instill.
got my Jordan
They've got-
Addison.
They've
They'd
got
have
a
got my
culture
Jordan
problem now
Addison.
that's going to
But the
become
head coach-
irreversible.
the head coach is known for a 16-year non-losing streak.
Amen.
Right.
And guess what that means?
Not much.
Mediocrity, which you were talking about. So the green grass, it's definitely greener outside of there.
No, they could do worse. I mean, I wouldn't want losing seasons, but that they
We
could
should have
breed
done worse,
something-
but God smiles on the Steelers at strange times. Some penalties and different things. God will smile on us and we get that win. Then other times we're winning and we give up. How does that
God
happen?
smiled on Southern Columbia.
Smoking Jim. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to tie. Nick, great points. I'm glad you're on board now with what us guys have seen for the last 10 years.
Sure.
It just took a while, so I understand you're young.
That comment just frustrated me beyond.
Well, he's only going to be
The
25.
grass isn't always greener. Sometimes it is.
Well, we're going to move to tie, but first, hello to all watching from Rochester, Nick and Peggy Rohde. Great camera work, she said. Wow, she might know the people that are on there, and she's fed them some of her cuisine. Ralph Williams, hello, guys.
That's my man.
Yeah, follow him, and he stole my co-host on whatever they're doing. I can't keep track of it. They're everywhere. Well, at least after me, they're everywhere, but we'll see what happens. All right, we're going with our new special co-host. Known him for a bunch of years. Point Park graduate, Ty Polk, with the parents are watching, so take a deep breath.
First of all, hope everything's going with Chip. My
Thank you.
dad was scheduled to get his knee surgery. That got moved back.
Oh,
at the
okay.
moment, so
Don't go to Chip's
Yeah.
doctor.
No, it wasn't Chip's doctor. Smoking Jim. There's a guy that had a quadruple bypass. What kind of doctor did you want to do it? No comment. Go ahead. Prayers for
Hey.
your dad then, because it's a serious operation. And if you
Yeah.
listen to the doctor, as Chip knows, being patient, you'll get better. It's
Yeah.
his second knee transplant.
I think it is second for dad as well.
Oh,
but yeah,
yeah,
so it's all
wow.
that. But one thing to talk about this, I said this on my Facebook. I said that if you are a head coach in Pittsburgh Pro Sports and your name is Mike, please shelter in place right now. It's not good. It's not good for you right now. And one thing I want to talk about, we talked about Mike Tomlin and all that stuff, and some points valid. I'm not going to lie. And maybe there is a time coming up soon, but not right now. But at least one guy that I could probably say has that time is Mike Sullivan. The Penguins, if you are
Great
watching
point.
them right now, you had all this money in. You traded for one of the top offensive defensemen. He just put in 100 points last year. So you look at that power play. It should be Carlson, Letang, Crosby, Malkin, and then you have a choice between Gensel or Smith or whatever. It's one of the league's lowest power plays. How?
Well, they're 37-0 right now. It's going to be, they're going after the record. That's how they are. And I'll just interrupt you that maybe you need to put Crosby on the right side instead of where you put him. Just knowing a little bit about hockey, that when you have superstars on it and they're not producing, you have to change it up. You got Carlson here who can handle a puck any which way, brings it up, and he's played some good defense. But on the power play, it looks like they're all lost and they want to keep passing.
It reminds me of, granted, this is though it's before my time and it's more yours, but I
You
went
can
back
bring
and
it
looked
up.
at
I'll go.
Sergei Zubov, whenever he was
Whoa.
whenever he was on the Penguins with Mario Lemieux on the power play. It might be too many cooks, but I disagree
is.
with you. I disagree with you on Crosby because he's always working that down low area. That's where you need Sidney Crosby for.
Well,
it's
I'll
Malkin
give you a
on that right
rebuttal. Lemieux was one of the greatest puck handlers and everything else.
Yes.
He was actually a good defender. Sid's 200 feet. He plays the game 200 feet. he could go to the right side and direct to open guys and still get in down low. But if you have him up there, look at Carlson, how he handles a puck. I've watched the Penguins my whole life, and I like the passes, but I like shots on goal. What I say when they're on the power play, shoot. What do they not do?
They don't shoot, but
Thank you.
there's one thing with it. I don't think putting Crosby there incrementally, but you have one of the best left-handed shots on that right circle in Evgeny Malkin in the league. You have to have him fire.
Well, he's not. There's something. He started out like a ball of fire, and you know when he's playing like that, he gives up the puck, but he scores goals.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? He's not scoring goals. So that means sometimes age catches up with you.
Yeah.
And that little
Could be.
edge. So to me, I'd rather have Crosby, who's still at his top game, and then put Malkin on the second power play, where a lot of those guys can play with him and get the puck to him.
I disagree in terms of that. I think that
You're a lot.
at that point, you have to load up. This is a power play, especially with a power play that's been abysmal, for lack of a better
I
term.
disagree. Sometimes you got to be back a little bit and minimalize some of this and let them shoot the puck and see what that talent comes out. Because they're all very talented, even Malkin. But Malkin has always been in this streaky type of guy, and I'm wondering what streak he's in now. So I'm a little skeptical of that. And I'd hate to take him off, but look at how Letang and Carlson, when they're playing defense, are actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing because Letang at his best, he's a little bit of both, but with Carlson, he's such a great defender going north with the puck. You have to have him.
Well, that's
basically
why I'm
lead
saying
everything.
keep him there and just move Crosby around to see what would happen. And then we need a goal presence of somebody. Gensel's too small.
Gensel,
He's good, but he's too small because look at how he gets beat up.
Gensel, I think, is more like the bumper area, which you have a guy at the net,
Yes.
you have a guy on the right circle coming
Right.
down low, and then like he takes the puck out high in the slot.
Right.
That could be something with
Good
it.
analogy.
But
yeah.
another thing that's with this team, secondary scoring has been very bad as well.
What is the bottom six? I just want to know.
That's a
Where
good
are
question.
they and who are they?
And the question with the Penguins now is, well, is it time? Because when you think of the Penguins in these moments, they've always known when it was time to get rid of Mike Johnston for Mike Sullivan, when they got rid of Michel Therrien for Dan Bilesma. You're looking around and going, yes, Sullivan does have the support of Dubas, the new GM, but there has been plenty of times when a GM is given support to a coach and a few weeks later, he's gone. So you're just wondering if things don't change. At one point, it looked like it was going to. The forecheck was not going gung-ho like it was 2015-16. It was staying back a little, and it was doing well for a little bit, and the team was having success. Now it's all about trying to come to grips and go, this is not 2015-16 Penguins in which they're gunning all over the place. It's four lines, and everyone's causing havoc, and then before you know it, the puck's in the back of the net, Penguins score. It's time for them to think of some new ways. It's time for them to maybe part ways with Sullivan. A great coach, but it's just time.
Let me interrupt you a second. You're on a roll. I appreciate how knowledgeable you are because it's not always on Pittsburgh Sportsline. You know the life expectancy of a coach in the NHL?
About 3 to 5 years,
No, 4.3.
somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
So I got
It was
it.
close enough.
No, I'm just saying, no, I appreciate your answer. No, that shows, I'm just giving it a little test at 28 years old. He's going toe-to-toe here, and we're good. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I have some knowledge and experience. They signed a contract to extend him after he had been here like 5 years. So he was already past the life expectancy of an NHL coach. So my thing is, we're in uncharted territory, and they all get this disease where they don't change what they're comfortable with.
This is true.
And then we got the longest streak with 3 guys, 18 years. What happens with age? We don't know what age Smoking Jim is, but I'm 67. I can't do what I was doing at 25 or 30 years old. So they don't even put that in account. And you got Carlson, Look at what he did last year, and I think it was in spite of not liking it there, and he took it to an extreme. Here, he wanted to come here. He got the best players, but they're not using him the right way either.
I mean, I don't
Right?
really
Think-
know. I wouldn't say that because
Well, we
they're
don't know what
they're
the
allowing
right-
they're allowing him to carry the puck. That's the one thing about Erik Karlsson. When he carries the puck, great things happen. He was carrying the puck the majority of that season with
Here's
San
what
Jose.
I'm saying, why we don't know if it's the right thing. Who's getting the puck?
That's a good question.
look
Off the
at-
passes.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. If he has maybe Malkin out of there and you're going to Sid, look at how Sid's one of the best still in the game today. Does he see people that are open? Look at his backhand. He got the best backhand in history.
Yeah, but that's where you miss him putting on that right circle. Have you seen all the deflections that he's
yes.
gotten?
Yes.
Those are coming off
But-
the side of
But
net.
I'm seeing 0 for 37 games. So to me,
Yeah.
it's time for me to shake it up, in my opinion.
You had a point.
That's what I'm looking, is sometimes you got to think outside the box. You're spot on with all the information you've seen, but you didn't have an answer for what they need to do, except don't take Malkin off. I say take him off and let it rip. Let's see what happens.
Well, we were talking
What-
about with Smoking Jim. He mentioned Alex Ovechkin 5 goals.
Yes!
I will say this.
Well,
it's
5
about
this
time
year.
someone tried to shut down that left circle shot that I don't know how anyone in the world cannot see that. Just don't let him get that opportunity on the left circle and you're going to win. He gets it every time. And it's almost like it's 50% of the time, 100% of the time, it's going in the back of the net. It's
Well,
just
I'll
unreal.
give you the analogy. Do you ever know some of your friends that are natural athletes? Like I had to work hard. Smoking Jim was lazy. He already was good. He looked like Urkel and ran a 100-yard in 8 seconds. But that was Urkel. Now, some of these guys are naturals, like Ovechkin is.
Yeah.
And he's so powerful, they can't stop him. Look at like Michael Jordan and guys like that are exceptional.
Good comparison.
They can do that, and that's what you're seeing. And sometimes old age hasn't got Smoking yet, but it might have got Ovechkin.
I don't think it got him. I mean, it's eventually
It's
he's going to
knocking
find
on
it.
the door.
It's knocking on wood, but Washington's doing pretty good in spite of it. And more
No,
often,
they're doing better with him playing.
yeah,
like
in
that.
spite of it,
Who would have
amazing.
thought?
Yeah,
No,
that's
a great
unreal.
comment.
So yeah,
All right, thanks for your debut on that. I let you run wild with that. Hope your parents enjoyed it. I enjoyed the going back and forth with that, with your knowledge on the game. So that was really great to have you
surprised you with that Zubov, huh?
here. You did. You pulled it right out. That was like a knockout punch. I was dazed. But not confused. So check Aerosmith on that. But I'm going to go to my fiction and fact. No, I'm going to what's on my mind. I was already looking at Smoking there. All right. What's on my mind is this past Sunday I watched football. I'm sitting with my son Drew. We watch football all the time. He goes, Dad, you notice anything? I go, yeah. I'm having fun watching teams that can block for runners, that quarterbacks can play the position, run, throw passes to people. And I'm seeing receivers going out there blocking downfield. Remind me of Hines Ward. I go, this is a great day. And he goes, you don't miss the Steelers. I go, who? And on that happy note, that's what you do when you're watching the football. And guess what? Look at the Chiefs, how great they are. I had to bring this up. Now, my dad was a referee for basketball, and you've heard me say it before. He goes, Alan, if you notice me during a game, I'm not doing my job. He was a championship. He's in the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. And what do I see in football games? You watch how many games? How many times do people go, why did he make that call? Why didn't he make that call? Well, guess what? We had the week before an interference call on the Chiefs was so blatant, hitting the guy, they didn't call pass interference. Now we see a guy, here's a line, and here's his big toenail across it. Supposedly did it 5 times during the game, and there was no warning. So I go, Mahomes is a team player. He's not throwing you under the bus, you, or me. He's blaming the referees because they're a big target. Because how do you not interpret a PI? you could tell us how it is. Why is there a PI? Right? Somebody did something wrong and broke the rules.
Someone was grabbing someone. Someone wasn't looking.
Exactly. So if that happens, fine. But who in their right mind would have watched Tony with a toenail across the line? He can't catch a ball. Then he's offside numerous times, and they call it on one of the most fantastic backward lateral touchdown play, and we got to have a penalty on it. So Mahomes did the greatest thing. He's so upset. Look at what he's done. He's hit 33 guys in the hands, and they've dropped the pass. 33. And that's when the Steelers were founded there in 1933. But imagine that. So he's freaking out. He throws his helmet, and I'm thinking, what's wrong? So I add all these facts up. I go, he's a team player. He don't want to throw Tony under the bus. They're talking to him like Joe Green and Troy and all these other guys would talk to guys. Hey, do you have good gloves or bad gloves? Do you got that Stickum on your hand, or you got WD-40? You know they're busting people's chops. You've been around athletes. So that's what's going on. So I had fun watching all these games, and not once did I go, why am I watching the black and gold play like this? And why are we doing worse? And I have to say it, it's almost sacrilegious. I was saying, oh, Canada, we got to get rid of them. We got rid of them, and we're doing worse. We're going to go to Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac. 10 seconds in there. Oh, there he
Al
is.
Levine, the
Hey,
talking
can you
machine.
move that ginger ale bottle? It's blocking your handsome
all right.
face.
It's not calling it dry.
Hey, here's something. Here's something that I have for you guys since you talk hockey. And Ty can take it to his media people. And Nick, you can take it to your media people. Probably the only one that would know this is my statistician, Marco. But I'll give you something.
What's
you
her
guys don't-
name?
You guys don't have
What's
to
your
look this up.
statistician's name?
You don't have to look it.
No, he lied.
You don't have to look this up.
He lied.
Frank Wycheck is in the British Ice Hockey Hall of Fame.
Where'd you get that
He played
information?
for Nottingham Panthers. I'm a journalist.
No,
I'm
you're
a journalist.
Hold it. Here's a disclaimer.
I think that's Petr Cech.
Yeah, I have to disclaim this.
Run that on here at 5 a.m., brother. You be a hero.
I got to disclaim this.
I'm the only one that knows it.
Smoking Jim's been on our show for 12 years plus, since October 11, 2011. This is the first time that he mentioned Google.
Get that fuck out of here.
And this is the second, this is the second or third time he's giving us information from Google. So whoever taught him, was it one of your daughters, your granddaughters? Did they teach you to use, oh, here, I got Google. Yeah, I'm Smoking Jim.
But hey, I've been taking a lot of heat lately because
From who?
everybody's telling me that this year's rookie class of the Steelers is doing good, even though they lost to 2-10 teams back to back. So I'm not going to evaluate this year's team. I already gave them a D. I'll go to last year's draft where I gave that draft a D. Let's see how I did. Kenny Pickett, the lowest rated quarterback in NFL history for 500 passes. You got to give that an F, but he's good in the fourth quarter, so I'll raise that to a D. George Pickens is about one game away from taking all his pads off like Antonio Brown and walking to the locker room giving a peace sign. How about the Leal?
Spit it out. Spit it out. Come on.
Leal. I told you Leal couldn't play in this system in the National Football League. He don't even get a helmet. Calvin Austin. No quarterback with enough arm to get it there. Terrible on punt returns. Connor Hayward, you know I don't like the Haywards. I don't like Cam. I don't like Connor.
You didn't like Ironhead.
Cam, they snuck out of Monroeville in the middle of the
right.
night. They could have been great for Gateway. We could have had a couple more state championships. I don't forgive that. How about Mark Robinson? I don't know why he's not playing. I give him an A, even though he's on the bench. And the quarterback that they drafted ahead of Brock Purdy in the 7th round and cut. And I've always said if Brock Purdy would have got drafted by the Steelers, he'd have got cut too. because he never would have gotten to a preseason game to show his wares. I gave that draft a D-. It's still a D-. Don't you agree, Nick? Thank you. And that's a fiction, in fact, from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Well, we go with mostly fiction all the time, so we'll carry on. Let's go to Nick VIP Callis, 10 seconds.
We're laughing. I got an opinion. Not going to talk about football. I'm too frustrated with it at this point.
We want more football, Nick.
We're going to talk baseball.
I like baseball.
Here's why. We got Shohei Ohtani over the weekend signing the biggest contract in the history of all sports, and maybe the biggest contract we see in all of sports, provided that inflation eventually slows down. 10 years, $700 million, a bunch of deferred payments. He's going to be set for life and for maybe like 4 generations of his family moving forward. Now, this is a big point of contention, I think, for a lot of people who critique Major League Baseball, because on one hand, you can't really buy championships in Major League Baseball. I mean, you can, but like, you don't. More times than not, teams that spend the most money don't actually win the World Series. On the other hand, it's terrible that all teams, it felt like, could not be in on a star like Shohei Ohtani or any other big star that happens to be a free agent in that class. And I'm kind of at odds, and I was having some arguments with a couple people about this, anywhere. It's overall bad for baseball when a team can't, like the Pirates. Like, we're right in the middle of that, because the Pirates really don't spend money, and that's been a criticism forever. And Ben Cherington said they were going to raise their payroll, but if they raised it by $30 million, they'd still only be at like $75 million or so for the year. So they're not right. They're already at a low bar, and we know that.
Yeah, but our problem is the owner.
Sure, I mean,
that makes it a little different of a problem.
Could Bob Nutting spend more?
Yes, he's a billionaire.
I can't say.
I can. He's a billionaire.
I can't say.
Yes, I can.
But no, you can't. I can't say anything.
I know. I'm saying anyway, yes, I can.
So then,
I work for BPTV.
So when the Pirates don't spend money, we know that, and it's not fun when it feels like a team like ours can't be in contention for these big stars. Overall, for the game of baseball, I think it would be better if more stars were spread out among all the teams, because then every team's got their own. Like, that's why Andrew McCutchen was so beloved here in Pittsburgh, because he was legit. He was the guy, and he played like it for 4 or 5 years. So, on the other hand, if the team's not really going to win, like the Dodgers are a perfect example. I don't know what they're going to do with Ohtani. I don't know what difference he's necessarily going to make, because they were already winning 110-some games consistently and getting bounced in the first round. Now, they get a guy who's going to have arm problems to start and only really going to be able to hit. So what's he going to do? I mean, is he ever going to come to full pitching form again? It's hard to say. He's had a lot of arm problems.
He has to heal.
He's just there to kind of give them, like, okay, the Dodgers got him. They won the free agency prize. Does that mean they're going to win a World Series? I really don't think so. He's not going to be the deciding factor in that, especially because they didn't win anything with the Angels. There's more of a backing around the Dodgers, but again, they just have had a history where you've seen them spend the most money in Major League Baseball, and they don't win. So I have a little bit of satisfaction as a baseball fan knowing that even though they're going to spend all that money, they're not going to win. And you need a good combination of a little bit of luck, good developed talent, and then maybe just like a little bit of an increase in pay. The Diamondbacks are a great example of that. They had 74 wins in 2022, and then they spent a little bit more, got some key pieces, and they eventually found their way into the World Series, only to get beaten. But still, they were there, right? That's something the Pirates fans, I think, would long for, just to get there. Anyhow, so
since 1979.
yeah, I mean, when Pirate fans kind of complain about that and the Shohei Ohtani thing and like other superstars getting paid, I think that everybody's got to keep sight of the fact that these big superstars getting overpaid are not necessarily going to make the difference between winning and losing. However, would it be fun to have a superstar on your team and be able to afford that? I've argued for the salary cap before, and I maintain that opinion to this day. So would it be better overall to have those superstars and have that talent dispersed? I do believe it would. I would say don't be too upset about this kind of deal, though, as Pirate fans. I know we're frustrated for other reasons, and money is a big part of that. I wouldn't be frustrated in the fact that the Pirates didn't have any chance to get Ohtani because of the economics of the game. And again, I don't think the Dodgers are going to be majorly improved by such a signing, and that's a huge commitment to make for one guy. But also, I understand the opinion of why maybe you want more superstars to be around. It would be nice to have some more talent. It would be nice to just see the free agency ring, run wild. I think that would bring excitement to sports too, because it does with other sports when you have, super big built-up drafts and super big built-up free agency periods. Baseball doesn't have that because not every team could be in it. There's really no surprises. The Dodgers were a front runner for him, along with the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers ended up getting him no shot.
Good point.
So I guess the moral of the story here is baseball still kind of stinks, but we can only hope for a brighter future. But this Ohtani signing doesn't really help anybody. Okay, go ahead.
One thing you miss is mostly it's about the money. Now, why would Los Angeles do it? They just created a deal to get rid of like the luxury tax and all this other stuff by only guaranteeing $2 million payments. $68 million would be delayed.
Well, that's what I mean.
Deferred.
It's a huge
No, but
commitment
it's
because-
about money. The Pirates could have done a deal like that.
Well, Nottingham doesn't want to commit that much money over that much amount of time. Deferred payments get a
It's
little
like
sticky.
it's like a mortgage. What you pay today, there's always inflation. So when you delay money, look at Bobby Bonilla, 20 years, greatest deal ever. Your money's worth less 10 years now than it is today.
Good point.
So that's the gamble the player's taking, but he makes $50 million a year in endorsements. He's not hurt a bit, and he got a bank account for generations.
Can he speak in?
And then do they sell jerseys, seating, other things, and more stuff? People come to the park.
I can assure
They're
you.
generating money. I'll bet you they generate a couple $1 million just with signing him.
I'm not saying that they're.
No, I'm
they're
saying
short
it's a
on-
financial. No, but it's financial that they're getting back. Some
Why do
of
we
that
always
money.
sound like we're arguing when we're agreeing? I don't understand.
Here's why. Because you're young and you're looking at it like this. I'm older, looking at it like what
I'm
I've
not
seen.
ignoring there's money involved here. The superstar.
You didn't say it once, except for
Here,
the contract.
Marco, over here.
Yeah, pull them up.
When a
Then we'll get Ty in here.
when a superstar is on the team, that's good for fans. And I just assumed with all of you smart people listening right now that if fans are in the stadium and fans care about a team, that money will be spent. Our viewers smart out there.
Well, let me say this. We have the greatest fans in the world, but they're spoiled with what we've had.
Yeah.
So reality doesn't come in. You're assuming that people are going to be honest and deal in reality. When you drink the Kool-Aid in Pittsburgh, all that is gone. So I disagree with you on that, assuming everybody's smart. That's why we disagree slightly.
Ty, what's up?
I'll do this. Nick's done with me because we reached a draw here. I stymied him without disagreeing
Hold
with
on
him.
now.
He's the talking machine for a reason, man.
He's stymied. We'll discuss it another day. He can analyze the tapes and then beat me up next week. And I take it. I'm good. I got broad shoulders. I want to get our new co-host here. I'll give you 4 minutes and I'll end with a minute and a half.
4 minutes?
Yeah, because they went a little longer. We got 5:26. You can put me back on at 1:25. So we're
Oh,
going to
wow.
go to a special segment. Marco, we're just rolling the tape. We'll let Ty carry it up if he wants to give any history on himself, what he actually does during his daytime jobs.
Just a substitute teacher at Steel Valley that also is a broadcaster for small college
Wanted
sports
to
and high
know
school
that.
sports.
See, I didn't know that.
Any football players with a 2-0
Any football players with a
at
2-0?
a Steel Valley?
I'm not in charge of those grades.
Okay.
Great
What?
answer. Carry on.
I am not in charge of those grades at all. But I will say this to answer with Nick's point before I get into my real point. San Diego did spend money for a little bit, and they're kind of on the smaller side of the market. But
Great
it's
point. I let that go.
dependable. It's dependable, and it's more with prospects for other teams.
Hold
But
it. While you two are doing it, I got to mention one team since I'm Dr. Interrupter. Anybody here of the New York Yankees?
yeah.
I rest my case. Move on.
All right. But I'll go into what I basically covered for effectively from August to about a few weeks ago. The PIAA championships. I know that there's a lot of people that say blame 6 classes, the public-private debate, Southern Columbia. Man, we should be happy that 6 teams from Pittsburgh managed to make it to Cumberland Valley.
Welcome to the show.
Hopefully next year I'll be joining you there. But but the one thing about it, seeing the Westinghouse ending, it's very unfortunate on the way that things gone down there. But I will say this: Bulldogs fans are going to be mad at me. It was the right call. It was just horribly timed. Basically, he was grabbed up within the first 5 yards. That's defensive. That's defensive holding. It stinks that they had to wait until after the sack fumble for everything to happen. It should have been something that was the flag almost out immediately, not whenever the sack fumble happens, they recover it, and everybody's celebrating, going, oh my God, a City League team's about to win the state championship for the first time since 1996.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's historic.
That's historic, but I do think that Westinghouse will be back again. They're actually going to drop down to 1A, so
With
they'll
your
have to deal
opinion,
with that.
are they that good?
Being there in person
Yeah,
last year
that's
for
why I
Steel
wanna know.
Valley's game and seeing them against Beaver Falls, they're still fast, and I thought that maybe the youth would have tripped them up. This year, it did not.
Wow.
And they're still young, and they're still going to go for it. And Smoking Jim, maybe your Gateway Gators might do something. Maybe.
Can I just say one thing to Ty before you go? L. Levine, the talking
Oh,
machine.
he's still got time.
And I understand what Ty's saying, that we should celebrate.
This is a Pittsburgh
we
sports
should
line
celebrate
first.
them going to states, but being the state
Here
champion.
comes negative
But being
Jim.
the state champion
Negative
myself,
Jim.
it makes a difference.
Negative Jim.
Hey,
It makes a difference.
I don't
winning.
just work there. I'm an alum at Steel Valley, so we have the ups of saying we were the one that got the better of Southern Columbia.
I don't know how Steel Valley got all those players eligible to play, but
You're asking, you pay people to live in Gateway.
that's true. We recruit.
Now, hang on. You're calling me Brighton and you're going on Steel Valley education right now. Come on, the education at Steel Valley is very
Harris
high.
Ford flunked out of every school except for
Don't say
Steel
that.
Valley.
Don't say that. I'm friends.
Oh, and he
with
only got
everybody.
30 seconds to go. Let him finish.
And I
it.
30
love it.
seconds to
Oh,
go,
I'm sorry,
but-
my fault.
But largely, oh man, he really just went and messed up my entire concentration.
He's a distractor and interrupter. I'm just a Budinsky, but I'll give you an
also-
extra 20 seconds. Go ahead.
I'll give a congratulations to all the other teams that did happen. St. Joe's Preps, I think it's incredible what you're doing there, but you should be playing a national schedule going against Bishop Gorman and all the other likes. But that's just me as a non-biased journalist with
Whoa,
no
you
affiliation.
heard the non.
Congratulations on another great season. 5A Emotep. It's great to see them. They were one of the first experiences of broadcasting high school
Who
football.
they beat Peters Township?
They beat Peters Township. Seeing them face
Smoking Jim only found out 2 years ago. Peters Township is about 15 minutes away from here.
Yeah, you better watch out. They'll be coming over. They also got their own public TV station, so watch out, Smoking Jim. Come on. Also, congratulations to Bell Vernon, back-to-back state champions.
Yeah, congrats.
4A Aliquippa. I mean, what more can
We're
I
gonna
say?
have
It's
to
the
wrap
Quips.
up pretty quick.
And of course, 1A was Steel High. Great season for Fort Cherry. They will be back. I expect all the WPIL teams to be back, and it's going to be a fun year once again.
You heard it here. Welcome aboard. I got 20 seconds to close it out. On location, we'll skip it. See you next year on location. We're just about done. And we got a couple more shows, and we'll wish you a Merry Christmas when it's apropos. But please stay Joey strong.